Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Edessa, the Dark Crusade Season 2. Tonight, it is somewhat early in the morning. Two figures have just left the city, doing their best to avoid attention. And they have left the city and have horses. Um, Madeline and Torvald are just riding. And this is where we will start our scene. They're riding somewhat fast, but Madeline will just look at him as they're riding and just say, "So, you might have some questions about where we are going?"
Yeah, I was thinking last night that I could ask Sadia to marry me, move out to the farmlands, adopt some children, and live out the rest of my days as a farmer, growing pigs. But life would be quite boring, would it not?
Boring and a mockery of what I hope of you to become.
He smiles sort of devilishly.
There will be people up ahead. My people. My students, in a sense.
More students.
In a sense, yes. Not to the level of you, but
I hope it's going to go better than the last time I met one of your students.
I'm going to show them and you something, well, more tangible of our teaching. It should not be far. And she just looks around, and it does not. Excuse me, what are you talking or asking about, Chris?
Sorry, I was just asking how you get the people out.
Well, the people have left during the day when there is no curfew.
Ah, clever.
And they're sitting or just having probably had some food and some things. They're just waiting. And as of right now, Madeline will ride up and see. Torvald, you will see quite a few people here. They're all somewhat similarly dressed, and Madeline smiles to some of them as she rides past, and just get down from her horse and just greet one man in particular who seems to just be somewhat receptive to what she says, and she will just say, "Now that everyone is here, I do believe it is time for me to show you exactly what our strength will bring us." And she will walk in front, and all of the people will seem to follow. As they get deeper into the forest, Chris, will you explain how things might change a bit?
So, yeah, for the new person.
I mean, Thorvald's, he's put his armor on, and he does every day. I mean, it's like an everyday thing. He's just like walking along, just not really knowing well, he's sort of got a vague. She's said all this stuff about her students, but you're not really sure exactly what he's expecting here. Sort of rests his hand on the pommel of his sword as he walks along, somewhat dubiously, following.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, could you just roll me perception awareness, new person, as you begin to enter the forest?
Okay, I think I've got. I actually need to check my sheet because I can't remember if I've got awareness 1 or 2 right now. Pretty sure it's 1, but I'm gonna double check.
Oh, my computer's acting a bit strange.
Oh, it's 2. I was wrong. Hang on. Yeah, nothing. This dice roller hates me today.
Yeah, you don't really sense anything out of the ordinary. At least not as you enter. As you continue on deeper, the forest appears normal at first glance. Nothing really appears out of the ordinary. In fact, if anything, you get a vague sense of perhaps of just ignorance, like just you desire, like there's just, you don't really see the need to come here. In fact, you're kind of alongside quite a lot of immortals actually kind of just gloss over the place, and if Madeline weren't cajoling you on, you'd probably be ignoring this place completely. It's only when you begin to enter past the boundaries and spend about 10-15 minutes just continuously heading in deeper that things begin to become a little bit out of the ordinary.
It is about the time they approach the boundaries, Madeline will turn around. Just remember, everyone hold. She holds up her hands, just seems to want a moment. She will just say, "My brothers, my sisters, we have come. Beyond this point lies a place sacred to me, and soon to all of you. The price of entrance is here. Straightforward. It is painful. But as I have taught all of you, we have taught each other. Pain is a thing to be acknowledged and gathered upon, to grant strength from. Hardship, suffering. It is not something to be avoided, it is something to be taken and molded into strength. For all of us. Such is the price to enter this place holy to me, and very soon to you.
Thor just walks forward, so he's at the front.
And she will just look and smile to everyone and just say, if any of you turn back, well, I will be disappointed. But I believe in all of you, that you are all strong enough to traverse this place, pay the price of entrance, and see what is within. And she will turn around and walk in. Chris, it is normal conduct that you traverse this without any clothing on, right?
Did I make that rule?
Well, once it was stated, but I don't know if it's
I don't know these rules, so I'm just gonna.
No, but
I think your clothing just gets torn, right?
Oh, that's what you right. And the first time I entered, it was just completely wrecked because. All right, right.
Yeah.
No, my armor.
Madeline will just begin to walk towards this thing, and yeah, the vegetation is different here.
So the flora here is as you begin to head deeper, it's a gradual shift. Trees and their branches begin to look a little bit warped. They begin to their trunks almost seemingly have the faces of people on them, like sort of a kind of a vague visual illusion you get from them. The branches just hang ominously. Ivy and thorns litter tree trunks in the ground, almost like overgrown, almost like malformed, overgrown hedgerows in a way, but a bit looser. The flora, the flowers are particularly alien, strange creations. Made up of all like many different kinds of if you have the half wisdom, you'd recognize many different kinds of flowers that aren't native to the area and appear to have been changed. They aren't the right color. They left off some kind of spore, that sort of thing. It feels different and tampered with. And as you walk across the ground, as you walk across the thorns, as you walk past the flora, it's not pleasant to cross. In fact, I mean, armor really just slows you down. It doesn't really make it much harder. It just makes it more frustrating to cross. But you can.
Thor was just powering through because fuck, he's trying to make a good example, and showing any fear at all is just not within his being.
And they don't cut properly. The thorns, the branches, they don't come off. They don't. It's difficult for you to pile your way through, and in some cases you just can't. And when you do make skin contact with the numerous different places, numerous different kinds of flora, like it actually burns your skin. And it's actually very painful. Even with fortitude, it hurts. This is not a wound. This is not an actual wound. It is very painful to head across it. And I mean, the mortals are faring far worse than you, Torvald. You are able to kind of take on it, even if it hurts. You're still able to power through for the most part. But you are definitely being heavily slowed down.
If Madeline can hear him, she'll hear sort of hisses and growls of, as he sort of tries to make his way through, at a good a pace as he can. But obviously, he's stunted at some points, and there's grunts of frustration.
Yeah, and you keep powering through. Madeline, can you make me a check real quick?
What kind?
Perception occult.
Perception occult? Depending on difficulty, I have 2 successes or 3 if my special. I don't think my specialty applies.
2. That's unfortunate. What's your specialty again?
The La Sombra thing.
Okay. That doesn't apply here. My apologies. So you see Torvald continuously attempting to power through. And you can see Torvald is like moving forward, He's obviously in pain, but it's not stopping him. But you see he's not really making much progress, and Torvald doesn't really notice this, but Madeleine does. But Madeleine realizes Torvald is effectively just being dragged around in a different set of directions. Like he's powering through the foliage, he's just kind of heading from left to right, forward, backwards. He keeps winding back where he started.
Madeline will call
With your second success, you know there's probably this effect is definitely mystical in nature. The mortals seem to be having similar issues, but not all of them. You know your most ardent followers are making it through fairly easily, although they're in much more pain.
Torvald, everyone, embrace the pain. Do not avoid it. Do not try to simply overcome it and ignore it. Feel every bit of it, or you will not cross. Follow my voice. Follow my example.
Thor stops being so aggressive. He'll just take it a bit slower. He's not unused to pain. It's gonna hurt, but he knows that it's temporary.
Is there any reaction he's giving to the pain? Or any kind of thought process?
He just sort of closes his eyes. He's had to sort of listen to things before. He just he does what Madeline says, really. He just follows her orders. He figures if anyone knows what's going on, it's her, so it's probably best to just do what she says. He's well, he definitely doesn't enjoy the pain, but he's focusing on her, really, on her voice.
Madeline, you see that most of the mortals at this point appear to be taking your trial by fire speech to heart, and a lot of them seem to make more progress. Torvald also makes more progress as he kind of walks on through, in far more pain at this point. But it's a few of the mortals just don't seem to be getting what you're saying. Most of the other mortals have made their way through, and a few other mortals alongside Torvald appear to have made middling progress. It's kind of like, it's that sort of, you can tell it's a sort of, you're almost there sort of thing.
Madeline will.
Like it's just like one last push they need.
Yeah, and Madeline will continue to make inspirational speeches in her own twisted way.
If, say, for example, if I threw something, now I'm not trying to throw something to break the stuff, but if I threw my armor, would it land near Madeline, or would it just be caught in the hedge, or do I not know?
You don't really know what happened to your armor if you threw it, but you can take it off and see what happens.
Thorvald takes his armor off. He'll just clutch it for now. See if this helps. It's definitely going to hurt a whole lot more.
It does. The pain is.
He goes sort of to his knees, but he won't scream. But Madeline can see that he is in quite severe anguish. But he's done something on purpose. He takes the armor off on purpose.
I mean, you can see when you at some point make progress through this, you will see that Madeline herself is quite torn. Her clothing is really like she didn't have armor on, but it's pretty much the same as you. Like
The stings, the burns,
yeah,
across all his scars is igniting all the fire in the old wounds. Like they were fresh.
Didn't know better. Madeline seems to be admiring you for more than one reason.
He's not really focused on that right now.
So when you take off your armor and you try again,
Yeah.
it appears to help. And you don't have to roll for this because it's becoming gradually more obvious, particularly particularly how the fawns seem to react to you. You clutch onto the armor, you try to push through. The fawns, it's excruciating. It's like being incapacitated but still conscious.
I'd be role playing screaming, but it's 2 a.m.
Yeah, I agree. This is a wise decision.
Thank you.
So he is the grunts become more sort of not screams exactly, but sort of more cries of anguish.
As you do so, you actually lose track of where your armor has gone, but you find yourself being slightly pushed forward by the very things which are piercing and breaking your body, until you eventually emerge out the other side. Madeleine, you see most of your followers also succeed, but a few do not make it. Their bodies simply sinking into the earth. You see an owl perched up on one of these warp tree branches. Quite long ears, orange eyes.
Silverwood's still got his gloves and his boots on, but the armor's gone. It's probably a weird.
Madeline simply just.
He's laying on the floor right now.
Oh yeah, he's on Madeline. You see him reach the other side. I suppose I should tell you what the other side is. Madeline, do you cross?
Yes.
Okay, so what you guys see, Madeline's already well familiar with this, but what you see is a strangely serene sight in the aftermath of all this pain. Is something of a sort of tender garden. There is a large lake. And there are people here. Some people swimming. Others testing each other in various ways. Painful ways. You see branding marks on many of these figures. You see strange symbols that you don't understand. But they appear very welcoming. And they actually appear to tend to the wounds of the mortals who've just passed through. Madeleine, you cross over. It's completely irrelevant of the pain at this point. It barely even registers for you. But you see things as it should be. You see, and you see a familiar face. You see, if I can find her for you.
Starts with M and ends with Orith.
Yeah, if I can just find her. Where'd she go? She vanished. Come back. Oh my god, actually, seriously though, she's gone. 1 second. Let me get her back.
I've still got my sword, right?
Oh yeah.
Good. The sword would have kicked off if we lost that. The armor is meh. It's replaceable. Sword, not so much.
Seymour. It's an alternate image. She is near several mortals who appear to be slowly wasting away at her feet. One appears to, well, actually, there is another who appears to be far healthier, but with a clear bite mark in their neck that has scarred over.
Madeline will go over and just say, "Good evening, Morris." And she will just step over to her, curtsy. And then she will just gesture over to the mortals arriving and she will just say, "These are my followers, as she requested. They have passed, and they are here now."
And what loyal, talented, and faithful followers they must be.
Sword forces himself up to his feet.
She's constantly tapping the steeples of her fingers in excitement. You haven't seen more of this excited before.
And he comes, he sort of, with one, like, he doesn't have anything to put his sword in anymore, so he's just sort of carrying it. He goes to Madeline's left side.
And this is my newest and most promising student, Thorwald.
He bows his head. Still squinting from the fiery thorns.
Oh my, you've seen your fair share of hardships, haven't you?
Something like that, yeah.
Welcome to my garden. I am warmth.
Thank you. He sort of looks at Madeline out the corner of his eye, questioningly.
Madeline just smiles back at him. "Welcome, Thorwald. This is where the faithful gather, to strengthen each other, ourselves. And Morith is our host. He is very wise.
He nods. He says, "Well, I promise to follow you anywhere."
And you did." She goes over and just smiles at him.
He's quite close. He's standing quite close. He's not in front of her. He stood behind her, but sort of like a few inches away to give her like social space, I suppose.
Mm. So, should we partake in first? Do you have anything planned?
Oh, I have very much planned for yourself and your followers, but first I must apologize.
For what? She asked for what?
For not all of these plans will occur here, but you will see them.
Ah, I see.
I would not for one moment disallow you from seeing the fruits of your labor and the further progression of your faithful.
Now, do you wish me to be the first? Or would you take volunteers?
For you, Madeleine, you have proven yourself in a way I cannot ignore or undermine or anticipate. For you, there will be something special.
Intriguing.
For you and your student, yes. If of course you would allow me, he is of course a student.
I would not say no. Madeline seems to be waiting for what part of the festivities are going to be happening first.
Thorvald's waiting, but also obviously not uncomfortable, but unsure of how to behave. That's the right word.
Firstly, I do not believe that pain without end would help any of us at this particular time. Relax, take a fill of water and blood. Engage in whatever you wish to engage in. It will be acknowledged and celebrated. All that is asked is that you do not kill the faithful here, nor do you tell any outsiders of this place. So yes, there will be a short interlude in which pretty much all of you are able to feed, celebrate.
How much am I able to get if I
depravity you wish to engage in, or in some illuminated reading? Who knows? But it is quite a disorganized sense of revelry. It is a lot of people are engaging in a great degree of heinous acts, including to eviscerating each other, to to the more standard acts of dancing, to sex, to pretty much
Just
anything you wish for it to
standard
be.
sex, you know.
Just standard, you know.
Madeline will
People are just
find.
mutilating each other. It's a real strange, and everyone kind of hops off into their own little cliques. It's a strange thing.
Thor's just he's gonna ask Madeline, I'll follow your lead, this is your place.
Hmm.
This is our place. You are joined now. You are part of this place. This is a very
Right.
important part of you learning our ways, the way that I would have shown you for the last while. Madeline will just find the leader of the flagellants and will, she will actually go around and congratulate them and probably partake in some of the things. She will find the leader. I can't remember his name, but
Maxim.
Maxim, that's right. She will find Maxim. What is he doing at current?
He's actually very quiet. He's just sitting in the lake in a state of meditation, effectively. He's just kind of zoned out. And actually, I should mention the landscape more or less bends to your winds, and whatever you wish to feel, you feel it multiplied. If you simply wish to be at peace, you find yourself with an enlightened sense of fulfillment. If you wish to feel disturbed, you find yourself enraptured in a state of incalculable horror. If you wish to feel happy, you are positively jubilant, as the joy kind of just sprinkles off you and affects everybody around you. And their state of being affects you in turn. It's a strange connection you feel to everybody else in the area. It's kind of a weird, warped sense of community.
Thor does.
Very intimate.
He takes his boots off and his gloves and puts his sword down because he's just feels like a bit of a chump carrying it around. It's gonna get rusty if he takes it in the water.
As he's done that, and when he looks at Madeline has only her jewelry on now. She has taken off her clothing. She will go over to him.
Well,
She will just.
That's an
She will
excuse.
just.
New armor. He smiles.
I will not need it. And she will drag him over to the pond, and they will spend some of the time together. Let's say.
Yes.
They will probably join one of the groups where such things happen, but for the sake of this scene, some time will pass.
Sexy interlude.
Yups. Afterwards, Madeline will just seem very, very enraptured by, well, everyone. Essentially, she just looks around at all the people that followed her. She just seems to enjoy the fact that they're here, and she also seems to very much enjoy your presence. She seems about as genuinely happy as you have ever seen her. Like, she does not seem to be holding up any walls. Those walls are from what you can see, very much completely down.
Thorwald slipped into the happiness of this place as well. Probably through the joy of the connection in the rituals you've taken part in. He's quite content where he is. He stays close. Any sort of social inhibitions about his proximity to people and things and how he should behave have melted. You see quite an affectionate side to him. More so than he allows himself to be generally.
this
Just
pleases
spread to the other.
Madeline even
Well,
more.
he is affectionate and nurturing to the other followers in turn.
Mm.
And then he'll turn to Madeline and say, "But I take it this place is meant for more than just revelry."
Well, it is a place of our mother. This means that it is for quite a few things.
Do we have to go back?
Eventually, I am afraid, yes.
He scowls. But I like seeing you like this.
And I like to see you relaxed around so many. And she will just go over and she will essentially grab another guy or another man and just seems to embrace him for a moment and just go over to another woman. She just kisses people and she just and then she just turns to you and just comes over to you again. Just seem more relaxed than I have ever seen you within the city. Perhaps it is also because we are outside the city.
Something like that. I
Well,
feel
enjoy it.
my chains are not in place.
Remember that I am going to work quite hard to make sure that those chains are broken.
I know. I fear that the last remaining one is one that can never be broken.
Hmm.
It's endured so much already. I don't think even a woman of your great power could break it.
I suppose we will find out in time. Madeline gets up and she will just, she will see what Moritz is doing at this time. Some time has passed.
Some time, and some indefinite time has passed, because I'm pretty sure that time is irrelevant here.
Unfortunately, that is probably the one thing that actually is still constant.
God damn it, Chris.
Hashtag buzzkill.
Captain Buzzkill.
So,
Yeah, Thor was gonna come over because he wants to know what this high priestess of the torture garden would like him to do.
well, like it's kind of equal parts torture and rapture. Because you have felt nothing but, oh my god, everything is great since you got here.
Yeah, it's great, but he's also like part conformist. So he's here and he's here to make a display of um
Courtesy.
no, exactly, like it's almost a display of dominance by not being dominant.
Hmm. Look at how great my manners are.
Well, more look at how worthy I am of being Madeline's student. You're never going to lose the sense of Thorvald having something to prove. That's just who he is as a person.
Morinth has indulged basically every form of ecstasy and rapture she can here. You notice the mortals she feeds off of seem sick once she's done. But she's quite... Not everyone here also looks particularly great. There are maimed people here as well, people who are basically lepers, but are given the utmost respect by the rest of Morin's following in particular. Actually, in some cases, being given even more deference.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they're sort of kind of of course, their sort of main scarred or diseased appearance conflicts with the sort of natural beauty of the sort of unnatural beauty of this place. But they themselves, if anything, look the most at peace. And yes, you approach Mora, and she says, "Have you enjoyed yourselves? We're soon to begin."
We have very much. Thank you. Let us begin.
Have you explained to your student the purpose of your philosophy?
Time and time again. But I have also told him that one must be willing to listen, one must be willing to learn, and one must embrace the pain and the pleasure in equal amount and take them for what they are, not seek one in the other. I have told him that our Dark Mother is caring, but also teaches through pain. And every teacher is a student, and vice versa.
I find the first lessons were always the most blunt, the easiest to learn from, the most obvious. I find in my old age having to explore touching the ends of my nerves. Piecing myself back together. But I'm sorry, I am becoming lost in my own thoughts. I see your student is a stalwart young gentleman. May I ask, young man, what pain you have endured thus far?
The full history?
I enjoy a good story. She even sits down and offers you a seat on like a log.
He sits down.
Well, it's a tree stump.
You will notice that Madeline seems to be quite confident that you got this, or something, but she doesn't just walk away, but she just move away and give the two of you space.
I was born in a slave house. A brothel of a kind. My mother served a mistress who I still serve. My sire. My mother was slaughtered when I was 7 years old. I grew up in slavery. He sort of points to the brand on the back of his neck. My only human romantic encounter was with a woman who was crucified for Thorwald struggles a bit.
Martha doesn't interrupt at all. She actually just waits very patiently.
My sire wasn't pleased that I took to bed a woman that was not her, and therefore killed the girl in question. I do not speak her name. I forbade it. She was with child when she was killed. So I'm told. Gaia, my sire, is a woman who teaches many things through pain. Each mark on my body is a reminder of a lesson I've been taught. Thorwald's scarred from everywhere apart from his neck and his head. She seems to have left the face untouched for whatever reason. My life, my long Gould life, was one of servitude, complete and utter. And when I was made in disdain, hatred, anger. My sire wishes me never to have a name for myself on this planet, on this earth. If she had it her way, I'd be dead. I don't know why she hasn't killed me already. She probably respects the ways of our life as much as I do. There's not a single thing I could do to win her love, no matter how I try. Thor looks over his shoulder towards where Madeline is. Madeline teaches me many things. The bond between me and my sire is a bond of blood.
Ooh, one second. Yeah, that's not real quick. Have you been shit talking your side?
Not really.
And I think she requires a spendable plan. I know acknowledging the blood bond is a big bet, because I know she wouldn't want that known.
I think that sort of comes without saying. If a bond of blood is like everyone's relationship with their sire is a bond of blood.
It's kind of overt. Like otherwise, you wouldn't say your relationship with sire is a bond of blood if that is by its very nature. It would be tautological, right?
Well, what he means is it's a family bond. It's a blood oath.
That's what the blood bond is called in Dark Ages.
Huh?
Nothing. If he speaks about it positively, then I'm okay with it.
There's Gaia is a woman of great power, great intellect, and she has many things to teach. I dare say the two most influential women in my life have taught me many things through love and pleasure and pain, shall we? Neither of which I would part with for any price.
Fascinating. Thank you for your story, Torvald. She holds out her hands towards Torvald and says, "May I?"
He nods.
She says that to Madeline.
Oh.
As she comes a bit closer. And she looks at her and just, does she indicate what she is trying to do, or?
You can take her to one side if you want.
You can what? Sorry?
You can take her to one side if you want an explanation.
She will just look a bit inquisitively and she just nods.
Okay. Okay. Morov gently puts she puts her hands gently upon both of your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And then you begin to feel an immense amount of pain from your shoulders to the tips of your fingers as your arms begin to wither away.
Right.
And once they are effectively, and you literally see as they begin to wither, they slowly, from the tip of a finger, slowly begin to transmute into dust all the way up to the stumps of your shoulders.
I think Thorvald is going to be pretty scared of that, if I'm honest.
Oh yeah, that's also 2 ag wounds. You can heal off the ag.
Can you soak?
Pardon?
Can you soak the ag?
No.
No, I'm just curious because if you have
It's basically the damage is necessary for the arms. You can heal off the damage, but the arms won't properly regenerate. They'll basically lengthen a little bit. She'll beg you that you do not do that now.
Oh no. But I was just
and
curious whether or not, like, some could maybe.
So he can't regenerate his arms.
no.
Whatever.
And she'll just say, until the passing of the next full moon, live without your arms, then return to this place.
Oh, is it both arms? Or is it just one?
Yeah, it's both.
Wow, okay.
I will give more details on this posting because there are other things, but they're largely mechanical. So I find you fascinating, Torvald, and full of potential. Keep on the path Madeleine has set before you. And you shall soon reach a destination that is even more rapturous than this shadow. When she says shadow, she refers to the garden. She gestures to it.
Thorwald's not going to be able to keep that promise
Sad days.
because he can't do any of his work with no arms.
Or can he?
Ghouls. Anyway, she'll turn to Madeleine. I would wish to spend more time with your student, but there are many here I must tend to, and he's yours.
She just nods. Just seems to get used to the sensation of not having arms.
Thorwald is not here. You can tell that. He's gone elsewhere.
It will be hard for him, but I'm sure he will understand.
Madeleine, you understand as someone on the road of Lilith, the fact that this will be hard for him is largely the point.
I know.
She begins to go to the others and begins to inflict many different sorts of anguishes upon them, not all of which are visible or immediate. For some, you see the effects minutes later. She inflicts very blunt, obvious physical anguish on some, wasting diseases on others, mental blocks and strange commands that she issues them that causes them some degree, like some just kind of slump into a depression, others weep in terror or fear. She just allows this to continue. And about an hour will pass, And Madeleine, and she will approach you, Madeleine, and she'll have a much harder time cracking you open. Because, well, you've had a good century to get used to this.
Oh, yeah.
And she actually takes what she does to you is not it is not physical. Rather, what she does to you is you find yourself away from the garden briefly in what appears to be an open wasteland in incredible pain, and there is nothing.
Do you want me to roll something for that, or will it just be how
It depends on what Madeleine's reaction is to it. But Madeleine gets the sense that there is nothing. There is just the pain. There is no conclusion. There is no one coming. There is no Dark Mother. There is nothing else. There is just this.
Madeline is a type of person that will just... She refuses to... First of all, she refuses to accept that that is the case, even though she feels it seems to be the only thing to conclude. Secondly, her will make her last longer. And she knows that she's not weak. So she is gonna either walk in a direction, find someone, or she is gonna be with the pain, whatever it might be, wherever it might come from. But she is not gonna run from it.
Roll me willpower. Just standard.
All right. 3 successes.
You do. You power through. What's strange is that it feels like centuries pass. You feel a lot older by the end of this. The most excruciating part of it all is the stagnation. The sort of, it's just pain. There is nothing else. There is no powering through. There is no moving forward. There is, no matter how far you walk, no matter how far you go, no matter how hard you crawl, there is nothing. But after what appears to be, God knows how long, you've lost count of how many years, how many decades. Has it been a couple, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 centuries? You're not sure. But eventually it ends. It does. But not in the way you expected. It just stops. The vision shatters like glass against your body. The final stabbing pain that you feel as it reaches a point of rapture instead. And you are back in the garden with Morinth and Torvald, your mind clearer, less broken, damaged as it was in the wasteland, in the nothing.
Quick question, Chris. Can I feed here?
Yes, absolutely. 110%. You are free to feed here. You can raise your blood back up to max. You can heal the 2 bag off very easily. There's like over 100 mortals here. Probably even 200.
He's gonna fill up to full.
Yeah.
Because I think we need to have a mechanics question, but we can do that in a minute.
Yeah. Madeline, you see that you have a silver knife in your chest. Torvald, you also see this. When Madeline seems that when she touched Madeline's mind, as Madeline appeared to stumble for a good few seconds towards the lake, but stop just before falling in. She spends about a minute in this state where Morinth just silently, very sleekly implants a silver dagger in her chest. And in her own.
Madeline comes to, almost. She turns around, shakes her head a bit, and she just says, I am with you both here. I assume I was not gone as long as I felt I was.
No.
She looks at Morinth after just taking a moment or two to collect herself. Thank you. She looks down at the knife. Am I allowed to remove this, or?
You'll need it, ever so briefly. I'm afraid your faithful nor your students may not. Nor your faithful nor your student may come with us, but we will only be gone ever so briefly. You'll be the first here.
I am ready, she says. Very resolute.
Okay. Madeleine, she sinks the knife deeper and deeper into the chest, and you take 2 lethal. You may not soak this. And she too does the same to herself, as she collapses on top of you, plunging both of you into the lake. Torvald, they don't come back up. Madeleine, when you come back with Morinth, you find yourself in a very different place.
I'm assuming her arms are still missing, so she will take a moment to stand because
Your arms aren't missing. Your vision was the trial, not Torvald lost his arms.
Oh, okay. Then she will not have that much problem standing up.
No. The world you are in, the sky is completely lightless.
Where would we all go into the lake?
No, only Madeleine and Morinth. She explicitly stated to Madeleine that only she could come with her, but that they'd only be gone briefly.
Right.
Morinth will guide you up. You appear to be in the center of a city, a very old city. Very old. You don't really recognize the architecture.
Does this remind me of something I have experienced?
No.
Not even with a certain lady under the city of Edessa?
No.
Oh. Interesting.
And this is going to be a bit of a dick move, but I wish to end scene here. Madeleine, you will not be scene locked. You will come back out. Torvald, more info. Madeleine will come back out in about an hour or two.
Yeah.
This will take longer, I assume, so that is fine.
And if that is okay, I'd like to see end the scene there. That's quite all right with people.
Oh, are we seen locked or not?
Pardon?
Are we seen locked or not?
Oh no.
Okay.
No, Madeleine comes back out in an hour or two.
We can end this. We can end the scene there.
Thank you very much, players for playing, watchers for watching, and ST for ST. Good night.
Torvald is armless and imprisoned.